Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence, and a big mahalo for tuning in. I really appreciate you checking this out. It is a great pleasure to be doing another follow-up interview with somebody who was just on the show, you heard a nice feature with, and somebody who has a real special place here in Hawaii. We're at the Moana Surfrider Hotel. I don't know how many times Kenny Loggins has been put up here in his decades in the market, but aloha, mahalo. Thanks for doing this, bro.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
And by way of that, have you been in this one before? In your illustrious travels through Hawaii, have they put you here yet?
Yes, I've been here a couple times, but you know, we rotate a lot of different hotels along here. It's been many years of checking out everything from Honolulu on down there to, what's it called now? The one at the far end of the...
Hawaii Kai?
At the beach, is it Kai now?
Or there's Hawaii Kai all the way on that end. There's Diamond Head. I mean, you've done everything here. Probably 1971 you first got here. A lot of these hotels, some of them weren't even built.
Yeah, no, the one with the dolphin pools and the little
the Kahala Mandarin.
Yeah. It used to be the Kahala Hilton.
Yeah. Now it's just the Kahala. It was the Mandarin, and now it's just the Kahala. Yeah, this is like...
That's how it goes here.
Say again?
That's how it goes here.
And that's one of the things about a cat like Kenny. He's got to be there through the evolution of the islands. And before we talk about Blue Sky Riders, just because it is Hawaii, and it's something that we have a group of artists who have become very popular here over time, probably because of their sound, like yourself. When you think about your history with the islands, I know that you have a good memory of it. You're remembering maybe your first interview on the beach. I think we were talking about that earlier. What are some of the things that you can think back to? Your very first time here, it was what? It was right before Loggins and Messina? Were you here solo? Describe it.
It was Loggins and Messina, the very first tour on Sittin' In. We played Andrews Amphitheater in Honolulu. We played Maui. I think it was pre-tennis court shows back then. And I think there was really only one hotel in Lahaina. Actually, Jimmy and I were offered a piece of land back then to buy a piece of land on Front Street next door to Longy's. And, of course, like idiots, we said no. And now it's like a huge hotel or something. I would have been able to retire by now. Not that I would.
Right, but that would have been a cool thing. So that's your very first memories, and you were able to quickly, over the course of I don't know how many years, did you get to play on all the islands, or was it centered on Maui and Oahu for a while?
Mostly Maui and Oahu, but Kauai we've played on a couple times. It's just very, very difficult to get equipment to the outer islands, and rentals tend to not be, at least in the old days, I don't know about now, but renting gear tends to be shaky at best.
We were just talking about it, as Faye said, if they have two concerts on this island at the same time, is there enough gear here to do it? I said, just barely.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if there was. But then I think the next time Loggins and Messina came, we played the Blaisdell Arena. And then we did a lot of that, gigs at the Blaisdell, but that was... that's not a great, at least it wasn't then, it's not a great venue for sound, so it was always tricky.
That's probably one a lot of local fans have memories of seeing you in, though. Because you went back there a few times, right? Yeah,
we played there. We did our farewell show there. Yeah, we've always had a great relationship with the islands. They got us here, and I was lucky that they extended that aloha to me when I went solo and continued on.
You felt it right from the beginning, or when did it occur to you, wow, I have a real connection in the islands?
I felt it right from the beginning. You just know when you're up there, that energy that you get back from the audience is so positive. Even the other night before last, I played on Maui, and the Maui reception is so much better than almost anywhere else. They're right with you from the very beginning. You can pretty much do anything you want to do, and they're going to be right there with you.
You connect it to the other. Do you realize, it's because it's Hawaii, there's a lot of mellow, melodic sounds? Do you realize some of the other people like Hall & Oates, America, who are popular? Have you seen how you fit in? You guys all sort of share a certain thing.
Well, that's that internet joke, Yacht Rock, that whole thing of all the comedy that they've built around that era. We were sort of moving in a similar direction. Michael McDonald and I were doing a lot of stuff with the New York jazz guys like the Breckers and Sanborn and people like that, and integrating jazz elements or smooth jazz elements into pop music. That was really the only time that happened, was that era. And Daryl Hall and John Oates were pushing that envelope, the R&B Philly sound envelope, towards a smoother jazz thing. So they were all sort of meeting in this yacht rock area.
That's funny because that's true. That's, I mean, you named a lot of people people are very passionate about here and have that connection to. When you think about your career taking you all over the world, because if you look at where Kenny's gone and where he's still going today as a solo artist, are there places besides here that you can say, you know, where else, Dave? Similar to Hawaii, I have a really strong connection to.
Florida.
Really?
Yeah. I do really well in all sunny areas. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the psychology of that is, but I'm strong in California, all the way up to Seattle, actually, which is probably because I'm from Seattle. Right. But you work down the coast, and then you work back up the eastern seaboard, and I do pretty well all the way up to northern New York State on into all those northern things. But as you get into colder climates, my audiences taper off. They don't get me. You know, I don't seem to speak the language of cold climates.
Do you ever make it back here when you're not working? Because work has brought you to the islands so many times. Have you ever just come, you know, I want to get back there just to hang?
Oh, yeah. No, I had a home on the north shore of the Big Island, on the northeastern side, the Sunrise side. And I built a beautiful home there on about 80 acres for a while. And then that went bye-bye in the second divorce, as beautiful homes will do.
We can all understand how something like that would go. Well, it's wonderful that you're back, and you're back at a time in your life that is, you're at this point where you did a gig. We were curious. The gig was not with the Symphony Pops Friday. You brought some guys out to gig with you there, and then this is a...
Yeah. No, that was my band, and then my band will be with me again tonight with the Symphony. So we augment the Symphony with drums, bass, keyboards, and guitar.
Nice. So it's like your band, and then in one of the gigs, the Symphony added to your band.
Right.
How many times have you gotten to do this Symphony thing? I noticed a gig, I guess it was in Boston at Symphony Hall, I think it was. And am I right that you did like last year? How many of these have you been doing? Is it a new thing?
No, I've been doing this for 6-7 years. I guess new compared to my career, but...
That's part of your career.
Yeah, really. I'll do maybe 10 a year.
Is it just because it's a lucrative gig, or did you say to yourself, no, this is fun?
It's not as lucrative as a regular gig because, you know, you've got a 50 guys behind you that have to get paid too. I do it because it's decent work and it's fun. I love the charts that we have and the sound of the music with Symphony. It's nice to do that for a change and get the energy of that thing. To be honest with you, Symphony audiences tend to be a little more reserved, a little more, they've got their coats and ties on. So it's not really a rock and roll audience. And you play a different kind of show for that.
And some of your tunes lend themselves really well to that. I would just think, and you'll tell me if there's other ones that are more so, but when I think of like House at Pooh Corner and the way you and I talked on the phone about the lush arrangement of that studio version, is that thing just built to do this gig tonight or what?
Some of them are, yeah. The Danny song, House at Pooh Corner, the one that I liked the most, I'd forgotten about it and I heard it again today at rehearsals and went, oh yeah, that really works. It's a real thing from the Leap of Faith album, which is just incredibly emotional. The chart's beautiful. Matt Kattengoop made that chart. I got to do a shout out for Matt.
Matt's a great guy, and we're fortunate of all the amazing shows this guy has put on. Well worth doing. He just had Mary Wilson of the Supremes in here not that long ago, and so yeah, you're following up some meaty folks, man.
Yeah. That's good.
It is. Blue Sky Riders. It's this new thing. It's this new kind of sound for you. It's a new direction. That's why I say when you back in your career, this is all evolutions and parts of your career. For folks who are not as familiar with it, describe the kind of passion that you're bringing to this and why this appeals to your sensibilities.
I was writing my last album, which was a employees only album for Target. And while I was writing it, I went to Nashville and I wrote with some great songwriters. And I met a singer-songwriter named Gary Burr, who was the lead singer of Pure Prairie League, followed Vince Gill in Pure Prairie League. And although that incarnation of Pure Prairie League didn't hit for him, he went off to Nashville and became a Hall of Fame songwriter. He's had 13 number one songs in Nashville, and God knows how many top 10 songs. But he's a really strong singer-player. He's a better guitar player than me, and he's just he was just sort of languishing there as simply as a songwriter, which to me is languishing. To him was a vital and thriving career. And I thought, we wrote together, and I thought, this is really fun. We're having a great time. We sound great together. We're from the same era, and our voices are very